I'm suffering. I'm suffering from pollen exposure. Not my favorite. The last thing I want is a stuffy nose from like being sick. So I guess it's a little bit better than that. But it's still pretty freaking annoying. So I'd say probably a month or two of. I mean, we're not even in the full swing of pollen season. It's gonna get freaking rough. It's to the point where as soon as I go outside, I'm just sneezing. Not good. Not awesome. But plan for today with back. I'll see if I want to do. I'm either going to do all lats, all rows, one after the other, or all rows, all lats, or some combination of the two. Those are kind of my three choices with 2 muscle group workouts. I don't do that for legs so much. Like, I wouldn't want to go back and forth between leg press and leg curls. Legs, I like doing hams, quads, completely separate, church and state. But arms and back, even a little bit of shoulders, I don't mind kind of going back and forth just between the two, right? Push down, curl, row, pull down, that sort of thing. But an underrated value of getting your back wider, or maybe not a value, maybe actually a downside, is you're going to have to start wearing different shirts. Because as much as let's just say how you fill out a shirt is going to be dictated by your shoulders, because that's the broadest portion of your upper body, right? Shoulder to shoulder. The bigger that your back gets, you might not think about it, but that's what's actually, basically your lats are the widest portion of your torso, right? Take your shoulders out of it. So, as big as somebody's shirt's shoulder to shoulder measurement may be, that kind of armpit to armpit measurement is going to start to kind of constrict. And eventually you're going to get to the point where, okay, yeah, this doesn't fit anymore. This doesn't fit anymore. This one definitely doesn't freaking fit anymore. And you got to kind of size up in advance. It's been a little while since I've had to do that, because once you're, for me to go from 250 to 260 isn't so substantial of a change as going from like 180 to 190, just on a percentage basis. But even back when I was 160, it probably by the time I was about 175 was when I started wearing like almost exclusively 2XL shirts in the gym. And at the time, these were pretty baggy shirts, right? This is a really kind of oversized long sleeve tee, where I was rocking this old blue one that I really liked. And then over the course of time, well, shit, now it's just, now it's too tight. Now it's out of the roster. Now it's just in a little, I've saved a few of them just because I can go back and look at pictures when I was wearing them for kind of nostalgia's sake. But yeah, you can start outgrowing your freaking shirts. So the way I look at that is I kind of use that as a little bit of almost a mile marker set up in advance by getting larger than fitting shirts at any given moment, and then growing into them, and that's kind of half of my logic with walking around the gym anyway. Is I want to look like here's a situation, right? You want to look big in a shirt. So do you wear a really tight shirt to kind of like cheat the system and make yourself look bigger, or do you do kind of a baggier look and let it sort of drape over yourself like that? And something about that makes a little more sense to me, to the point where it's, if you ever see a guy who clearly works out, but then he's also walking around in clothes that are like really kind of highlighting that he works out, it's just kind of like a hat on a hat, Like if you're huge, I'll be able to tell, even if you're wearing a freaking 3X. So what's the point in shrinking down into a schmedium just to, I guess if that's your thing, what are you gonna do? But yeah, we'll see. But underrated angle when it comes to outgrowing stuff is getting to the point where shirts start getting tight in that torso section, not so much in the arms and the sleeves. But we will have to see. We'll just have to see what ends up getting started. I forgot to weigh myself this morning But that's all right, because I'll just weigh myself tomorrow morning and then plot that data. So even though I'm trying to track my shit really accurately so I can have this graph that I'll be able to plot over the next few months, if you miss a day or two, I mean, yeah, sure, there's going to be a little bit of a gap in the data, but the overall quality of the, or let's just say readability of the progress in the graph, it's not off. You know, it's still pretty freaking solid. So just because you had one day where you missed something, maybe your calories were off or whatever, dude, you know, if you get off track, just get back on track. Just get back on track and you'll be freaking golden. One little hiccup isn't going to freaking hurt you. But I think there's nothing else to say. Let's just get warmed up and then decide how this back day is actually going to look once we're, you know, actually in the space. All right, so that took a second. Came in, started warming up a little. You know, it gets I couldn't tell you exactly why, but it just took a little longer than normal to get that kind of just freaking excited nuts feeling. And that's where, if you got a badass roster of TikTok edits, it can get you going. So now I'm in the groove. I think I'm going to start with all rows, then all pull downs. So mid back first. And when I say mid back row, because we all know, I mean, you're working your lats in a row. You can, like, if I keep my elbows down, I'm basically just doing the bottom half of a pull down. So I'm getting a ton of lats. So I'm kind of aiming to at least try to keep my elbows a little more flared up. But what I'm really doing is, instead of imagining my lats pulling my arms down, I'm more so thinking mid-back, pulling my shoulders in, right, back around, as though I'm getting, as if I want my rear delts to bump each other at the top of every rep. You know, they're not going to be able to, but that's what I'm kind of trying to imagine. So, let's get real. Holy shit. Ooh. All right. One more at least. All right, let's go back to 5 plates and do one more. Okay. All right, let's pick a new row. Holy shit. All right. Let's go a little lighter and do one more. All right. Basically one plate on both sides. That's fucking heavy. Let's do a seated row, and that'll be all for upper mid back. This should be good. A little bit of a quicker pace set. All right. Let's start with the pullover. This will be good. Heavy enough that I feel it, but light enough that I can still squeeze it. That's kind of my criteria. Two. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. 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 Whew. One more of those. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh shit, one more. A little lighter though. Let's drop it by 40. Poof. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh. Time for a pull down. Time for a friggin' pull down. But this might be my, well, I can't say for certain, but this is definitely a gnarly back pump already. And I got 3-ish more sets of pull downs left. Okay. Ooh. Okay. One more of those. Okay. Oh, shit. All right, one more, but with a straight bar handle. Come on. There we go. Two. Hey. Okay. Ooh. All right. Let's set up some lighting and we can see how this back take looks. Okay, so, oh, 1 second. There we go. Had to swap batteries. That one was at 5%. That's one little upgrade. I got a little battery charger pack, so that when I come in here and the thing's about to croak, I don't have to shut the lift short, or at least the recorded portion. But overall, yeah, I think this method of back training, kind of really separating upper mid to lats, I think this is going to induce some pretty substantial back gains over the course of the next few months, at least a slightly faster pace than I'm used to. But let's see how we're looking through the shirt in terms of width. Yeah, see, and that's what I'm fucking talking about. I mean, my lats are like basically as wide as my shoulders are, at least in a full-on freaking lat spread. But let's actually see how it looks. Yeah, that works. Oh yeah. That is what I'm talking about. Still some grain, but I feel full as a freaking house. So let me walk you forward just a touch. Yeah, this is, ooh. I would go so far as to say this is a pretty damn freaky back pump. I mean, really, it goes without saying. Ooh. All right, let's see if the Arnold translates. Oh, man. All right. I'd say morning weight, if I had to guess, definitely over 240. This is not a 240-pound pump, but I can't say exactly how heavy. I guess I'm really gonna have to wait for tomorrow for the specific number. But I ate a bunch of junk when I was on that kind of two-parter trip. Doing some new 3D flavor testing, and then that meet and greet. So I think I'm probably a little bit residually carved up and full. But either way, back not only pumped like a freak, but also pretty solidly fatigued from those extra heavy sets. And I mean, shit, this is a good sign. I feel like my forearms are not, maybe not veinier than when I was fully cut up, but that's still a substantial amount of veins. Oh yeah, I'm leaving the gym a happy camper. So let's get back in the car. There we go. This is a nice constant. It's a good feeling to get in the car. I feel like I'm not even all the way in the seat because my lats are running up against the edges. Nice. This is good. This is something I can count on. And right now I feel like we're in kind of a very interesting time. We're in a very social media, political, he said, she said, just very distracting time, I feel. So it's good to have a good baseline, like getting your pump in, right? You wake up, no matter what happens, you get a pump, you counted your calories, you did your cardio, even better, that's like a bonus. Dude, come on. Things are going your way, no matter freaking what. So now all I gotta do, go home, eat a little something, edit this thing together while it loads, do my 30 minutes on the bike, and actually I'm upping it. I'm gonna do 40 minutes for a little while. I think I'm gonna raise my own personal bar for the cardio from 30 to 40, and it's still not insanely hard. I'm just sitting on my phone playing games and like scrolling Instagram and TikTok. I'm definitely sweating, but it's not like a sprint. So would I recommend it? Bulk, diet, anything in between? Certainly, absolutely, certainly. But I guess most of anybody right now who's either going to bulk up or diet down, I think most people are thinking diet. Most people are thinking stay on the leaner side and peel down for the summer months. Very reasonable. Now, I'm not trying to get super soft super soon, but I'm definitely ready to put some size on. So the hope of doing those 40 minutes of cardio, or 30, or whatever you can muster, even 5 is better than 0, is to kind of counteract the fat gaining effect of a surplus. I want to ride the line of just enough that I'm growing, making sure that I'm getting bigger and stronger, but not overdo it to the point of unnecessary body fat gain. Which is that's not a lean bulk, that's not a clean bulk. I think that's just called a responsible bulk, right? Because no matter how much heavier you get, if the end goal is to peel off some of that excess body fat that you put on during the process of the off season, then that's going to be your responsibility, and are you going to be able to handle that? If you've never dieted before, you're kind of sometimes it's sort of like jumping out of the nest and you have to learn to fly on the spot by doing a heavy bulk, and then all right, shit, well, I want to reveal the muscle that I built underneath, that sort of situation. But yeah, it's a good back and forth. And the way that I like to think about it, I've talked to a few guys about this, is if you do either one to the extreme, and what I mean by extreme is just to a point where you can actually say with certainty, like, that was a proper bulk, or that was a proper cut. I've never been this lean before, or I've never been this big and strong before. If you can say that at the end of it, whether that takes 3 months, 4 months, however many months, then odds are you've kind of, it's like you're in the mood for something sweet, so you eat some maybe you stop and get some ice cream or something. Eventually you'll have your fill of that sweetness, and you're going to say, all right, now I want to change it up. Now I want to go savory. Now I want to go soul food, something along those lines. So I think the same thing with bulking up and cutting down, and not even to a super crazy extreme, but just even, a moderate, maybe gain 10 pounds in a couple months kind of thing, and then peel down and see if you can bust out an ab vein, something like that. If I get essentially sick of bulking by the end of it, and I've had my fill of getting stronger and feeling like a beast in the gym, then I'm going to say, all right, you know what, now I want to see how I'm looking. Now I want to see the results of what I built, and vice versa. So right now I'm kind of on that sick of dieting phase where I'm basically just getting my fill of food, but within freaking reason. So that puts me at what, day 8? So this is officially 1 week. Excuse me. I'm just about 1 week into this bulking phase. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for dumbbell bench over the 150s. I'm excited for incline Smith, or incline barbell more like, with 315 and above. I'm excited for 5 plates to just be the norm on squats. I'm really excited to see if I can get my arms up to like 21 and a half. I think 22 inches is a little ambitious, but 21 and a half, very feasible, pumped at least. Maybe 20 inches unpumped. That's a pretty badass measurement. And then we'll just go from there, It's and those aren't necessarily goals. Those are more so just like key milestones where if I did hit them, it would make me feel pretty freaking happy. But I'm not so one-dimensional as to say like, okay, I need to be 290 or 280 or some particular weight. It's it's more like I want to just be in a solid state of being of bulking, and then the rest will follow. The rest will all just evenly fall into place like a well-set table and a finished meal. But I think that's all I got to say there. So I've got an arm day tomorrow. I'll make sure to bring a real measuring tape, the one that you can kind of just wrap around, and then we can get a new baseline of a pumped arm measurement. So I'll see you then.